Welcome into this Week 8 edition of Buffalo Bills Weekly, where we keep you up to speed on everything going on at One Bills Drive. He's Chris Brown, I'm Maddy Glab. In this week's episode, we'll take a look at Buffalo's successful halftime adjustments, paint the picture on how Buffalo's offense is coming together, and actor and comedian Joel McHale helps us preview Sunday's matchup against Seattle. Chris, 2 straight wins for the Bills. Through 7 weeks, we're starting to get a clearer picture of Buffalo's identity. On offense and defense, this team had to work together for a come-from-behind victory against Tennessee last week.
Yeah, but as Coach McDermott said, that real complimentary football didn't show up until the second half, but when it did, 34 unanswered points. Now the task is to get that at the beginning of the game.
The Bills have a secret weapon this season. It's their halftime adjustments. Through multiple games now, Buffalo has looked like a different team in the second half. This is especially true for the defense in last week's game against Tennessee. In the first half, they allowed 217 yards and 10 points. Compare that to the second half, 0 points and 70 yards. The pass rush really started to come alive. Chris, this isn't a team that's playing an entirely new defense in the second half.
Right.
So what allows the defense to consistently play great in the third and fourth quarters?
Yeah, I think some of the players explained it last week after the game against Tennessee. You know, you have teams that haven't put everything on tape yet in the early part of the season. By the time you get to week 13, 14, you know what everybody has up their sleeve, and there are no surprises. I think early in the season, first half of the year, they can come out with some gimmicks, some tendency breakers to catch you on early in the game, and then once the coaching staff and the players get a beat on that, they batten down the hatches on that stuff, and then you have to line up and play real football, and that's where, in most weeks, the Bills have the advantage.
Defensive coordinator Bobby Babich said sometimes halftime adjustments are just calming our guys down, and I think that speaks to the leadership in this locker room, guys executing what coaches are saying on the field. After just 4 days of prep, new Bills wide receiver Amari Cooper had a day to remember in his first game as a Bill. He showcased what he can bring to this offense, finished with 66 receiving yards and a touchdown. The 5-time Pro Bowler looks to be a nice piece to this puzzle that makes up Buffalo's offense, and maybe even completes it, Chris?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say, because I think a lot of us felt like there was something missing from the passing game specifically. But I think the most important thing that he does is he defines the roles of everybody in that receiving pecking order. It's clear going forward, he's going to be the boundary X receiver, and then that means Coleman, for the most part, is going to be the flanker on the other side. Shakir's your primary slot, and Kincaid is your pass-catching tight end. It might change slightly week to week based on opponent and game plan, but I think when you have players in defined roles, it calms everybody down a bit because they know going into the game what they're going to be called upon to do.
Offensive coordinator Joe Brady said you saw the impact that Cooper had. It wasn't too big for him, and now it's about getting him installed in more packages. The Seahawks might be without their best wide receiver. We'll tell you how it impacts this matchup coming up next.
When we return, Maddy Glab interviews actor Joel McHale in this week's episode of You Heard, and then later catch the press conference highlights in Soundbite Roundup.
Oh, hi, everyone. It's me, Joel McHale. I'm a Seahawks fan. I didn't know if you know that. You just heard.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of You Heard, where we feature athletes, celebrities, and influencers telling us about their NFL fandom. In this week's episode, we've got actor and comedian Joel McHale joining us to help preview Sunday's matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. Joel, thanks for being on.
Maddy Glab, thank you for having me.
The Seahawks, get up, you got it going on.
Yes, well, coming into enemy territory. So, well, I guess you guys are, but it's all in good fun. It's just going to be a bunch of guys chasing the ball and running really hard into each other.
And we love watching that. We are the
really
people who will turn it on every single week.
I would watch it every night, and I can't wait for these. Look, I like an early morning game, too. I know they're playing one in Germany this Sunday. I'm like, great. I love waking up at 6 in the morning, and halftime is just about to happen.
Quarterback Geno Smith leading the way. Best passing offense in the NFL. How have you been impressed by Geno's ability to reinvent himself at quarterback?
Well, it's been, with Russell leaving, it felt like, all of a sudden the sky was falling, and the way it happened, and it was it was very big sports news in Seattle, and it was all kind of a bummer. And believe me, I'm happy that Russell did, very happy that he did great last night. And I know that some people can be still bitter in Seattle, understandably. And then Gino comes in, and all of a sudden, he's great and gets us to the playoffs. And then this year, it's been we win the first three, and then we're like, look at this, and then we lose the next three, and we lost 2 games in 4 days. And that I was at the Giants game, and I'm like, oh no, what's happening? And then, with the win against the Falcons, it kind of was like, all right, we're back, we're okay, even though Metcalf is injured. And so Gino is just one. I think he's just such a. I mean, obviously the man is such a gifted talent, but he's such a smart quarterback, and he will not. He's wonderfully relentless. He's going to hang. If things aren't going great, I was like, don't worry, he's hanging around. He will hang around and get stuff done. So, the fact that we're at the top of the division with a 4-3 record, I know you guys are 5-2, and you guys are favored. Don't rely on that. And so I feel like it's this kind of dangerous team that can, watch out, because we got everything we need, I think, to be to go all the way.
You spoke about Geno Smith being a quarterback who likes to hang in there and hang around and make games go till the fourth quarter if the Seahawks happen to be down. We've got a quarterback like that in Josh Allen on the Bills, so maybe this is a game that just comes down to the wire, and whoever is better at the QB position gets that victory. What do you know about the Bills and Josh Allen?
I don't know anything. No, just as I don't know.
Who is that?
Doesn't matter, Maddie. It doesn't matter. I Josh Allen is an incredible quarterback. We know, and if you don't have a good quarterback, you're pretty much screwed. I don't know the man, but he seems great. His commercial, and whenever I see like funny guy, like he's funny in commercials, so I'm like, he seems pretty great. But he just seems cool, and obviously, that look that game that was a season and a half ago, or was the last season when you guys barely lost to Kansas City, it will go down as one, even though you guys lost, and I'm sorry about that. Look, I did that. The second Super Bowl with Russell Wilson was still, as I can understand, but that game, I was like, just the sheer talent and skill those guys were showing, pretty great. And the family that owns the team, their daughter Pogula is one of the greatest tennis players playing right now.
We'll be right back on You Heard. Stay tuned. Okay, you have a plea to stop showing the Pike Place Fish Market during Seattle games. Word on the street is that's how you feel. The Bills have something very similar. On a lot of our broadcasts, they show Niagara Falls, which is like 40 minutes down the road. And I think fans here feel similar to you. So I want to give you the platform. Why do you want that to be stopped?
No, look, I know the guys that own that fish shop, and they're the best guys on the planet, and it's great press. So keep that going. But it wasn't that, and I love those guys, and they do have some of the best fish in all of the Northwest. And but every time it's just like no matter what, if it's a nationally broadcast game, I was like, they're going to show the fish, they're going to show the Space Needle, they're going to show a ferry going across the water, and then maybe a stadium. And so it's just the exact. You could. There's all sorts of different landmarks.
Put it on your bingo card.
We have Snoqualmie Falls. Look, we can swap you waterfalls if you like.
Let's do it. Let's see if people notice.
What if you guys just throw around some buffalo meat, we could do that. I don't know if that's the thing. Oh, your chicken wings or whatever. Throw a few of those.
All the shticks that we have in all these NFL cities that you see, and it may be like an hour and a half down the road, and you're like, this really isn't a representation of where the game is being played.
I do like when they show San Francisco, and even though they play in San Jose, which is about 50 miles away,
Yes.
and we're like, no. The show was San Jose has a lot to show off. They got roller coasters. It's cool. Yeah. Anyway,
Come on.
These are all good things to be discussing. There's no.
Yeah, I like to laugh about it too. You walked on.
I did stand up in Buffalo, and they were terrific people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. And, it's a short drive to Toronto.
Right down the road. You are definitely correct. But I wanted to ask you about being a lead character on Community. It's a show that has so much creative energy and so many personalities, from Chevy Chase to Donald Glover and Allison Brie and way more. What was that like for you?
When you get these jobs, or you get the pilot, and I've been in numerous pilots that have gone nowhere, and you think this is gonna work, this is gonna be the one, I can't believe it, I'm on TV, and it's like, oh, no, we're not doing more than one, and that's it, go get another job. And that was one where, when we started, it was kind of more traditional in the first couple episodes, and then Dan Harmon's big beautiful brain started getting to do what he wanted to do, and we was so great to be along this creative roller coaster. And but we didn't, the show was always everyone always like, oh, you don't have any ratings, and we were always just about to be canceled. And then during the pandemic, the show really took off, and believe me, I can't, when young people walk up and I'll be like, wow, it's like talking to a grandchild or something. I'm like, let me tell you what it was like to use BlackBerries, kid. So, yeah, it was great. And it's too bad about Donald's career. It hasn't flourished, hasn't taken off. Has he done anything since?
Yeah, right. Come on.
Yeah, no.
Guys all over the place.
Yeah, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah.
Lord, he's talented.
He definitely is in so many different facets, too. What is next for you? What do you have going on right now?
Animal Control on Fox, Crime Scene Kitchen on Fox, House of Villains on E!
Wow.
Yeah, those are the shows that are. Animal Control comes back for its third season in January, and Crime Scene Kitchen is on right now.
Okay.
So I suggest watching the first episode on Hulu before the Seahawks-Bills game, and then watch the second episode after the Seahawks victory on Sunday.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But I do like the idea of a little appetizer in watching a show before the Bills and Seahawks game. I can definitely get on board with that.
A lot of people like to eat before an NFL game, and this is all about dessert and some savory food. So, go Seahawks and go Bills.
Thank you. Our fans will appreciate that.
Favorite team in New York.
There you go. That's a good way to end it. Favorite team in New York. Only team in New York.
Only team. All right, great. Only team in New York. And you're just a short drive from Hamilton, Ontario.
There you go. Nothing better than that, right?
All right, I'm going to go throw some fish and stare at the Space Needle. And you
go over to Pike Place Market. I'll go over Niagara Falls. Thank you so much, Joel. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me. See you, Maddy, Glab.
When we return, catch the highlights from this week's press conferences in Soundbite Roundup.
Yeah, a couple really good corners. Obviously, familiar face in T-Dot. He's playing really good football. I think their D-line is playing very, very solid defense as well. Tough team to run against. They've been a high-effort group. They've been making some plays, so we're going to have our hands full.
For me, I just get out there and whatever they got, thrown our way, that's what we, got to attack on that given down, whatever it is. So I wouldn't say that I've seen too much or too less of anything, I try not to, obviously I do my film study and all that type of stuff, but when it comes down to getting into the details, I go out there and zone, find the open spot, and then man, beat your guy.
What do you see from the Seahawks defense when you look at them?
Fast, aggressive, physical, play together, fly the football. So a really well-rounded defense.
I mean, us as a receiver group getting open, running backs getting to their spots, tight ends getting where they need to be, and him making the right decision. And if it ain't there, throwing the ball away or making something happen with his legs. But mostly just making the right plays.
Doing your 111th, right? So that's what I'm saying. You gotta do your 111. Doing your job is important, especially where gaps sound defense. One person, sometimes I get cut on my gap, maybe. Running back hits his head on the goalpost in practice, and you learn not to do it again, right? So it's just constant reps, but also just having that mentality, like it's your job, and you can't let your team down. I'm responsible maybe for 3 steps in a play, right? I may not ever make the play. Somebody on the backside can come down, Greg can make a tackle, whoever it is, and you're just doing your job to help the defense.
Really decisive, gets the ball out quick, and he's able to kind of hit whatever receiver anywhere in the field. He's a really good quarterback. So they got a good offense. Kenneth Walker runs hard, so it's gonna be a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, they got the #1 passing yards, passing offense in the league right now. So obviously they can do a lot. They show a lot of different things, and it's just about neutralizing them and limiting explosives.
I think it's more mental than anything else. Just making sure that we're slowing the game down. Sometimes I feel like when we start, our minds are kind of all over the place because of whatever the reason is, you know what I'm saying? But just making sure that we're more calm going out there and just really seeing what's in front of us.
Again, no easy task. It's a tough defense, and that's why you see a lot of them out there, this type of defense that we're playing. So again, we got to have a good week of practice and got to go out there and execute on Sunday.
Welcome back into Buffalo Bills Weekly. Seattle has the best passing offense in the NFL with quarterback Geno Smith at the helm. One of those receivers with a big chunk of the yards is 2-time Pro Bowler DK Metcalf. Metcalf was carted off the field in last week's game with what head coach Mike Macdonald is calling a minor MCL sprain on his right knee. Macdonald said Metcalf is going to do everything humanly possible to be able to play on Sunday. Chris, how does Metcalf's injury change things?
Well, if he is able to play, we know he's probably not going to be 100%. Now, as you said, #1 passing offense in football, so it's not a one-man show. But he is their primary field stretcher, so the burden would fall obviously to Lockett in that category and Smith-Ajigba working the underneath routes. I'm curious to see who they lean on if Metcalf cannot stretch the field and be utilized as he normally is. They're going to have other guys pulling on the rope. Maybe it's tight end Noah Fant factoring in more.
Metcalf is known to be a tough player who plays through injuries. He's only missed 2 games in his 6-year career. If he does decide to go, this is going to be a matchup to watch because of Seattle's wide receivers and Buffalo's defensive backs. Seattle has 3 receivers with more than 300 receiving yards in Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Tyler Lockett. For Buffalo's defense, they're built to stop the pass with guys like Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas, and Taron Johnson. It's a strength-on-strength type of matchup, and this could be a huge factor in the game.
Yeah, and I think the key for the defensive backs, and this sounds simple, but it's not always easy, you have to have the first guy make the tackle. And in addition to having good form on your tackle, you need guys rallying to the football as well, because if a defensive back in a certain situation gets caught out of position, that guy's just got to hang on and wait for help to arrive. But the first man cannot miss. Yards after the catch cannot be had for Seattle.
Well, Seattle is the 2nd best in the NFL in terms of yards after catch, but Buffalo's defense ranks top 5, allowing just 6.4 passing yards per attempt. This type of matchup might come down to who does a better job at taking care of the football.
Yes, and I think 3rd down is going to come into play here as well. The Bills, as prolific as their offense has been in some weeks in terms of scoring points, 3rd down efficiency has been a problem all season long. Last week, perfect example, they ring up 34 points, but they're 3 for 10 on 3rd down. That has to improve, not only to extend their own drives and finish in the end zone, but to keep the ball out of Seattle's hands.
Buffalo's offense is coming together as a unit. We knew it wouldn't happen overnight because of how many new faces are on this team, but through 7 weeks, rookie wide receiver Keon Coleman is settling into his role. He's playing with more confidence. Another rookie and running back Ray Davis is adding a physicality to this offense that you can't help but feed off of. And new Bills wide receiver Amari Cooper is helping define roles for everyone on this team. Chris, what's next?
Well, I think it is 3rd down efficiency. As I mentioned earlier, they really have to do better there, but that comes down to being more efficient on first and second down. Josh said some of his own decision making on first and second down has to be better. I remember a read option play last week that he read wrong. He gets tackled for a loss. So he kind of puts a lot of it on himself. Look, it's not just him, it's everybody else as well, but staying efficient on first and second down, I think, will help them on third down going forward.
A new wrinkle that's been added to this offense this season that's been nice to see is their ability to get yards after catch. Wide receiver Khalil Shakir ranks top 10 among receivers, and rookie wide receiver Keon Coleman is averaging 10 yards after catch per reception. That's the best among rookie wide receivers. When you get yards after catch, you move the sticks and you keep your playbook open. You can catch the game this Sunday, October 27th on Fox. Chris will be on the radio with the call, so to hear him and Bills legend Eric Wood, you can listen to WGR 550. This Sunday's matchup is a matchup between two division leaders. The Bills sit atop the AFC East. Seattle is leading the NFC West. We want to thank you for tuning in to Buffalo Bills Weekly. For Chris Brown, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you next week.